Yo, what's going on, everybody? CollisionWorks here. Welcome to our How to Beat Man Coverage Guide here in CFB 26. Today, guys, I'm still going to be in my Houston offense, and I kind of wanted to go over some RPOs, a few run plays, some things we have already discussed, but I kind of just wanted to talk about certain routes and combinations that can help you beat man coverage. Now, I'm going to be doing this in the open practice, so everybody's going to look a little quicker because I want to be able to mimic some stuff that you're going to see online, so it's not going to be ultimate team, but obviously that doesn't really matter. So to start, I want to go ahead and get out of the way the run plays. So let's go talk about some RPOs that I've been trying to attack with. I have been using the U off trips. Here we have a RPO read flat, which is going to be really good for a certain reason we're about to discuss. And then over here on the other side of the playbook, here in tight slots, we have RPO peak slant. Now, these plays aren't really good for like just running the ball, but it's still nice to have that as a tool. But what I want to talk about here is in the U off trips, what we can do, guys, if we just go ahead, go back a tab and look through our packages, when we go to the left, we'll see we have slot wide receiver at tight end 2. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal for hitting that flat underneath. So we're going to go ahead and select the RPO read flat here, and I'm going to go ahead and do mid blitz pressed, and then we're going to go ahead and bring this the safety who's on the running back down here to the gap, or the center, sorry. Now, guys, for this play, what we're really looking for here is just a quick play to mix in with the flat underneath. It's going to be a little hard for me to do this on 2 controllers, so it may be a little worse in game, but just, stick with me here for a moment. But we're just going to snap, look underneath, hit the flat, and then we're off to the races. Now, listen, speed is obviously important. This isn't just going to score every single time, excuse me. But it's a nice play to have. Now, where this is really important to know is that we don't have to just sit with this play as is. Since we have everybody going out at a route here, we can pretty much put anybody on the field right now on any route that we desire. We can even block, for example, our tight end if we wanted. Okay. Now, this is going to be really good against people who are sitting in really any type of zero blitz where they're going to put all that stress on their user. Where if we were to have like a slant here by B, and then we stay with this flat, and they were to try to follow through with this, and then we hit the middle, this isn't like the best write up. It's kind of hard to do with 2 controllers. But what I want you guys to see here is that we're going to put a lot of strain on the user when we run stuff like this. We can even put like the tight end here on a post and stem him down once, and then we can go route the B receiver where, if there's a situation where we even see he beats the press animation, we can try and lob this up. This is going to be a little difficult times, but I really want you guys to see what you can do with this play where you can even run. I know for most part, from what I've seen and what I've tried, when I try to slant the tight end here, it will kind of block the end. But I mean, if you wanted to put him on a drag, you could try that. You want to do, like I said, a post like earlier. This is going to be a really good play to mix in. And you can even, if you wanted to kind of mess around a little bit, you can even motion snap him and then hit it. But it's kind of up to you. We just need to make sure we're watching out for the user. But just wanted to throw this in as it can be a really effective play. And you off trips, it's very similar to the old A slots. It's still a very good formation. Now, like I was saying earlier, it's not like the best run in the game if we were to just sit and wait and just snap the ball. It's really not the best. Now, right there, that was like a terrible example. If we want to like block the tight end, like I said, we can do that. But still, I mean, depending on the situation or if they're trying to shift their D-line or anything, this still can be a really good run for us. So don't sleep on it entirely. It's not terrible. It's not the best, though. So don't want to overhype it too much, but still a good RPO, and I wanted to make sure you guys had it for this breakdown. All right, boys, and then up next, we're going to have the tight slots halfback week RPO peak slant. Now, for this play, guys, how can I say it? We're going to be doing, honestly, a little bit of everything on this play. I will have gameplay of me running this, but for this play, fellas, I really like something like a short corner route, then like match it with a post, because this play does take a while to hand the ball off, and with that you actually have a lot of time to make a read. Now for post routes, I don't like them too deep. I would recommend stemming them down at least like once, but get a feel for it, see what you like. You can block your tight end for this play as well if you'd like to, if you need a little more time. But again, we can kind of look and see all over the board what we want to throw. Right there was a terrible misread, but wherever your opponent is, shading, we can kind of make quick work of the opposite side of the field. So that's why I kind of like having something going outside, something going inside. Sometimes you guys can do something like this where you have a really short corner running with a post. I like that against zero because, depending on what they're doing, you might be able to get like a nice easy throw underneath where you're kind of shading or your pass leading down and out to get away from the DB. Right there, he breaks it up. But you guys are going to see, like with the videos that I put in there, like overlaid onto the screen, you're going to see we have a lot of opportunities where we can make a lot of different throws. We can throw post routes, we can throw corners, we can even keep it simple and keep the flat on the field as well, where they may not be as close, to like the tight end, for example, if they're, running double mug or things like that. So, just make sure, listen, this isn't like the best type of, play or content in the game for, beating man, but there's going to be moments where it's going to be a very useful tool to complement to our Houston guide or to your own playbook, whatever you're running. These rules kind of apply anywhere. There's going to be RPOs that we can run where we can add hot routes, and it's really just going to complement our game a lot. So it's more so just letting you guys know this is here for you, depending on what you're running or what playbook you're in, and to take advantage of it if you have that opportunity. And like we were saying, the run plays, like they're not terrible and then like on their own, but it's definitely not why I'm running the running the football is not why I'm choosing RPOs. I'm definitely using it as those option plays to try and make a big, quick bang bang play, either on the outside or deep down the middle, and just kind of keep their user underneath while still having that run game as an option. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I know it's like not groundbreaking, but it can be a very good complement to your offense. Let's go ahead and move on with the video. All right, guys, and before we get into the passing portion of this video, I want to talk about just a few run plays. We talked about this before, but since we're talking about beating man coverage, I want to go ahead and include this in this video as well. But halfback off tackle out of the bunch tight end is a really good run play, I believe, against double mug. I also like halfback draw if we're running it like sparingly. Don't want to run it too much, but halfback off tackle and draw are what I really like. I'll go ahead and show this real quick because, like I was saying, I know we've talked about it before, but really for this, it's going to be hard to user defense, so I'm just going to sit him here. But we're just going to try and get to the edge and not hold trigger until we get there, and then try and make just one move and get ourselves an easy 5 yards. It does break home quite often, actually, but really, we're not always looking for that for this play. We just want to run this, mix it in. Honestly, guys, the main reason I run this, obviously we can get good yards, but it's just so I can make sure that they're not always pass committing against us. I want to make sure I have this option here so they can't just pass commit every single time and get easy sheds on us. I want them to know that I can also run the ball effectively, and this is a good play to mix in for that. And if you guys missed our Houston guide, I did talk about draws. Draw plays, whenever you see like these yellow routes running with the receivers, they typically do a better job at keeping man coverage defenders running with them. So for example, I'll go bring this guy back down and just pay attention to like the bunch side and all the guys who are manned up to them. If I snap the ball, you'll see they'll run up field and they are distracted far longer than a white run block. And I've talked about this in years past. It's been around for a while. Sometimes I feel like it's a little more noticeable in Madden, but it's probably not the case, as you guys see right here. It does a really good job. And right there, I forgot to mug with the DB. It's just kind of hard to use two controllers. So this run may not be as good as it's looking right now because you're going to be going up against another user. But if you just kind of wait a moment, find a lane that works, and then, cut up field, it's going to be a good run for you against people who are spamming man coverage. And yeah, like I said, I don't want to sit on these too long. I'll show it one more time and then we'll move on. But, we just want to make sure we have these plays for when, we're noticing they're pass committing, and we want to make sure that we can get those easy chunk yards and prevent them from doing so every down. Alrighty, guys, and now for the passing portion, I want to talk about certain routes that are going to be better against man coverage. Now, this is all very much up to interpretation or whatever you like to run, so please don't feel like this is absolute law, but I just want to talk about certain routes before we talk about certain plays, because this is going to apply to any playbook. You don't have to run this playbook. Houston, I'm talking about, run whatever you want. I just want you guys to keep your eyes out on these things. So if we were to look here in, for example, we'll look at Y off here. PA double post. You guys see the B receiver has a sharper running post than the RB receiver. And if I were to go out on the field and show you guys this with the graphics, you guys are going to see that the RB has a more 45-degree angle cut, while B has more of like an in-route cut. It's a lot more horizontal. Those are going to be more aggressive cuts, like the B receiver post. That's going to be more aggressive against man coverage because it's going to make the DB have to turn more into the play. Something like RB, even though this can still beat man coverage, it's less adjusting by the slot DB to make when he is playing man coverage with this route. So if I were to show you guys some other plays where I like to highlight this stuff, we can look at wing trips where we mentioned Poco, where we have this X receiver on a post. I like something like this a lot more against man coverage than, let's say, a post route, by RB. It's just my philosophy. It's just I like the sharper cutting post. If you were to look at something like trips tight end, right, where everyone runs the tight end corner with verticals. There's a reason for that. It runs a lot sharper. It cuts itself off more. Where if I were to go ahead and just put like 2 drags here and then put B on a corner, you guys see if we look at A and B, B is cutting more upfield on his corner while A is cutting more sideways. Okay, so if the DB just has to turn his hips a little bit, he's going to be able to run right with that corner. But if he has to completely turn his body, like against A, it's going to be harder for him to play the ball there, and that's why everybody throws these passes with the down pass lead outside, where I can guarantee you, I can snap this ball, throw to the corner, and I got him every single time. My quarterback sucks, it's fine. But you guys see, it's so important when you're trying to beat man coverage that you are actually calling plays that have good running man beating routes, and these are going to vary. Like for example, curl flat here, that's not the corner we want. Now, if there's something you guys have found and you'd rather have that corner, by all means, run it. But typically, we're going to want corner routes like the tight end vertical, or we're going to want post routes like Poco, or like the Y off trips double post with B. From my experience and my years of playing, I like these more. So make sure whenever you guys are looking at different playbooks, don't just think, oh yeah, it's going to be cover 4, it's going to be, Tampa 2, it's going to be all this stuff. Make sure you guys are saying, yeah, that route is actually going to beat man. Because right here, if I'm looking at X spot and I'm looking at Y, that route's not going to beat man coverage. Now, if I stem him down, adjust, yeah, whatever. But typically, they're not going to beat man coverage. So I want to talk about that. We're done with this now, but I wanted to mention that before we move on. So let's go and talk about some plays that will beat zero and go ahead and beat cover 2 man, and we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So let's go ahead and talk about beating cover 0 first, just because we've been here so far. So I'm going to go run mid blitz again. Boys, you can really call whatever you want, okay? None of this is law, like I was saying, but we're going to go ahead and call trips tight end verticals here. I'm actually going to move this ball over to the right hash, and that way it has a more game look to it. Now, I'm going to be rambling a lot here, so just kind of bear with me and just kind of listen to what we're talking about. I'm going to go ahead and get on this safety here. We'll press the defense and go ahead and sit over this center. And guys, for this play, we need to know immediately when our opponent is blitzing. You don't always have to block. If you have a good play where you like to send 5 out and you can beat it, all means do it. One thing I like to do is I like to go ahead and just run a table route here where I can snap the ball and then go ahead and hit this here. If he wants to play low on that table like the CPU did, that's completely fine, because what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and throw the tight end. So we snap the ball, we see he goes running back, we go ahead, throw tight end. And we're quick snapping this, okay? The only thing we're doing, putting table, snap, okay? And once they've learned, guys, okay, it's just the table route every single time, well, now we go ahead and just do an in route, okay? Keep this guy on his toes. Because if we snap the ball and he runs out here, and then we can hit RB, and then we get ourselves an easy 8 yards, well, that's an easy play we just won on. And then, with that, we're still keeping in mind that we're getting the user away from the tight end, okay? So if we want to run a in route like this, we see he plays the running back, we go ahead and throw this corner, and we're off to the races. Now, if you guys are playing MUT, you may not be able to take it to the house. You may, I don't know, I don't care. Just want to know, you're not going to get 7 every time. This is easy stuff we can do to beat man coverage. Now, if you guys need to block a tight end or block a running back, that is completely fine. We just need to know how we can go about it. So if we want to, we can block our running back here. One thing you guys must know when you're running like trips, for example, is the line will auto slide. You guys see how they're blue here? We're going to go ahead and hold LB, go down on the left stick, and we're going to base protect. That way everybody is accounted for. We don't always want that slide. Sometimes people get through free and we don't like that. To pick up this blitz, we're also going to untarget the user who's mugging. That way the O-line will pick up somebody else, okay? Now what we can do is we can go ahead and put B here on a corner, but we don't like this corner, remember? Or at least I don't. So we're going to go ahead and stem this guy down. Sometimes I'll do like twice. Sometimes I just really like these, quick corners. Now we can go ahead and put Y here. We can put him on a short cross if we want. We can put him on maybe not a return if you have the tight end on a corner. I'd probably run something like a short cross, but we'll continue on the route combinations later. But I just want to talk about how we can pick this up and still be efficient with it. So we'll go ahead and snap the ball here, hit our tight end. We can go at freeform down and out. That was a bad throw by me. But what you guys are going to see me do a lot, you're also going to see your favorite YouTuber do it. They're going to, in 1v1 man coverage situations, they're always going to freeform down, away from the corner, in either outside or inside, wherever the leverage is opposite. So we want to get the ball away from the DB and we want to get it in the chest of our receiver. I'm not going to send instant replay for this whole video, but I just want you guys to see how we throw this. You guys see we have the open field over here, so that's where we're throwing the ball. And that way the DB can't get it. We're boxing them out, and then we're going to throw this. This game is 50-50 balls, and you are going to come down with it about 90% of the time, okay? So we take those throws. If you guys want drags, we can run drags. If you guys want to do something like this where you mix it up and put the tight end on like a post, maybe stem him down once, now you can you can add a return route to it, okay? Because the user's going to have to follow that tight end most likely, right? And now we can put B here on a short cross, where once we go ahead and block the running back, we base protect, we pick up the mugger, and then if he wants to sit on B and he tries to user B, now we go ahead and hit our return route here. A little tough to throw that correctly with two controllers, but you guys see we're going to use that short cross as a puller. We're going to get the user away, get him to the right side of the field, then we hit our return route. Right here, we kind of got bagged, but we still got a few yards out of it. Tight end has the inside advantage, so what are we going to do? We're going to pass lead down and a little bit to the left so we can box out this defender. That's just how we have to play against man coverage because it's really good. That's why a lot of people will sit in 5-2 or double mug all game. That's why they'll let you get 7, but they're banking on you to throw that trashy read one down, and then they get their pick. That's just how these guys play, so we need to, make sure we're kind of ahead on that. Another route combo we can do here, like we were saying, actually I just mentioned the short cross. If you guys are actually really struggling as well, I do want to mention you can run a gadget receiver at your running back, and you're going to adjust this in the depth chart. So you're going to go here to coaching, you're going to go to depth chart, you're going to go up after holding right trigger, go right here to GAD, and whoever is starting at this position is going to be your gadget player. Right here, we have 95 Ryan Williams. This guy's an absolute dog, right? So once we go to our packages, we go left on the right stick once. We have gadget at halfback, all right? You may have to select it, then back out to see it, but now we have number 2 in the backfield. Gentlemen, this is going to greatly improve your route running in the backfield, okay? So they come out here again. Now we have a 95 overall receiver, and guys, I run this with an 83 overall receiver in MUT. This is still huge, okay? It doesn't really matter the overall. This is a receiver versus a running back. What this is going to allow us to do is we can block our tight end now, and we can effectively run corner routes, or we can effectively run a sharper Texas, or we can run wheels, even wheels better. This is really going to open up the playbook a lot, where now we can go something like this. Sorry, it's the glitches in this game when 2 controllers are plugged in are terrible. But you guys will see me do stuff like this in the gameplays, where we have the running back here out of the backfield, and we have a return route, something like this, to try and keep the user down. Now we snap the ball, we got everything picked up. Go and throw this guy out here. Good play, he dropped it, but we have a lot of stuff open right there. The block tight end does result in the DB playing out in coverage. But listen, we know that. I accidentally forgot as I'm drawing this up. But now we know that that's going to be a thing. We can't, bet on that all the time, that's going to be there. But, we just got to use multiple different man beating routes throughout this. And if they're going to start shading, you guys may have to switch. Maybe we put, B on a zig and then Y on a short cross if they're shading a certain way. And then we can do something like that. You know what I mean? So we can go ahead and snap the ball here. We have A, then we have our zig, we have our short cross, and we're just kind of trying to spread the field out enough so the user can't, capitalize or jump on what we're trying to throw here. So it's a lot of rambling. I'm sorry, but man coverage, I've said it for years. It's a philosophy. It's not really a one play, way to beat it, especially with route committing now. This year is going to be harder than ever. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are struggling, but that's all right. We're going to figure this out together by running the ball, using man beating routes, and using man beating plays and switching up who's running those routes to effectively beat this coverage. Okay. So like I said earlier, don't be afraid to send 5 out. Okay. You may be able to get away with it at times. So, don't fear that. We can still base protect, and we can go ahead and unmark him, send out 5, see where he's going, and then throw opposite of it. Okay. So keep this in mind. And we can still sometimes get away with a zig with a 5 wide look. Just depends on how they're shading. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'll see a lot of people switch stick to that. So just kind of feel the opponent out, make sure we're mixing in the run plays, and we'll be in good shape. So let's go ahead and go over to bunch tight end real quick because I did talk about this play in the Houston video, but I'll go ahead and mention it here. Listen, these were very common in Madden 25, these motion wheels. I'm not completely sold on them. I do think they are effective because when people make adjustments, sometimes a motion can completely mess up how man coverage plays, and that's very, very good. But for this play against zero, I don't typically run it, but it still is good. We can run something like a drag here, and then we can run like a post and a corner. So it looks like this. We just want to make sure we're getting our protection right where we're doing the base pro and then the untarget, snap the ball here, and then, you know, hope that wherever they're shading, we can get somebody opposite of that. Right there is just great coverage. But, you know, if they're route committing a certain way where the post is bagged or the corner's bagged, we can just switch these guys up where I can go ahead and do something like this and then like this. And then they've made their adjustments. We go ahead and protect. And now we've changed who's running each route. Okay. This is just how we're going to have to play this year, fellas, with how route commits are. Right there. I mean, they're always going to get jammed. And in practice mode, I do apologize. I know it looks terrible, but practice mode, they just bump into each other so often. But just keep this in mind, fellas. If you guys want, you can always cancel this guy and you can motion snap him. If you want, you know, the receiver to block for you, we can go like this. And then we can have the drag and the Texas. We'll make sure we base protect. Bring this guy in. I'll press one more time. Go ahead and unmark him. Then we can just snap here. And then we go throw a drag. Right there, we still got some pressure off the right, so maybe we got a half slide there to account for this new receiver that's blocking for us. But this is going to be a great way still to go ahead and give us, you know, the drag here by the tight end. If the user's sleepy, he'll be wide open. If the user wants to cut back to the Texas, the drag will be open. Or if the user commits to the drag, the Texas is going to be open. You guys see also here, we get a good press speed off of this corner out here. That's going to get him open. And then right here, because, you know, we're blocking a receiver, this post may not be an option because he's going to drop back into zone over here on the right. But we have multiple man beating routes, plays that we know work. And if we're not comfortable, right, if we don't like the play, we can just go right back to off tackle, run the ball. Don't hold trigger till you get to the edge. We have a lot of room to work with. We get ourselves an easy 6-7 yards. Okay. So that is pretty much going to be it for cover 0. And guys, for cover 2 man, to be completely honest, we really just run the same exact stuff, but we can be slightly more aggressive because they're not sending as much pressure. So if you want, we can go right back to verticals here, run our base play, snap the ball. They get a good press beat here. We can throw it down the seam. And just because I was using the safety boys we talked about in the last video, these halves are terrible. One of the worst zones I've seen in football gaming history. If you quick snap this, there's a good chance you'll be able to blow right by that slot DB if you got a little bit of speed. We talked about it in the last video. I won't cover it here. We're going to move on. But, you know, you guys can still run stuff like this with the return route. You know, you can mix this up. You can go something like this. You can really do anything you want. It's just, man coverage is just such a chess match. We know our tight end's going to get open more often than not. Just want to make sure you kind of pass lead it down and out. And then, you know, mix in who's running what inside the trip side. You know, if you want to try and get these zigs open, stuff like that, you know, play with the running back. That way the user has to go play running back. And then you guys can get your underneath options open. Right there, they got absolutely caged. So it's man coverage, dude. It's really good in this game. But one of the biggest things I can recommend is just making sure you throw the ball away. You know, don't force it into bad coverage. You know, take those 50-50 balls in a mature manner. Make sure you guys are doing it in a way where you actually will have that position to catch the ball and just run your man beating routes and mix up how you guys are running them. It's just how you have to play against man. Expect a lot of third downs when you're playing against man. Expect a lot of big fourth downs. It's just how it works. These guys play bend but don't break. They want you to throw picks. They want to keep sending pressure. And we just got to make sure we're staying disciplined, still using 5 wide, still, you know, blocking when appropriate. And never forget, guys, because I teach, at least for the start of this year, I've been doing a lot of trips tight end and bunch tight end. Do not forget to run your base pass pro. This slide can get you killed, and it is so annoying. But I have lost games. Okay, I've lost 1 game because of this, because it will just screw you over. So don't sleep on your pass protection. It's very important. If you guys want, I can also make a video on how to block these common blitzes. It's not hard at all to do this year, so that's why I haven't done it, because I assume you guys have that under control. But if you need it, just let me know. If you guys need more help beating cover 2 man, uh, I would go to the Houston guide. I talked about it some there, but like I said, it's really just, it's less pressure. Keep running your man beating routes, and I don't think you guys will have a problem. And don't forget to run the ball. The last thing you want is somebody who's running man coverage to be able to pass commit every single time. You're going to get killed. It's going to be impossible to throw the ball effectively against route commit shades, shading, and pass committing while people are still sending 4. So take what they give you, play smart, be patient. These guys are actually kind of ass. I know, because I do run man time to time. So best of luck to you guys. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments or over in the Discord. My DMs should be open. If you guys need anything, just let me know. So see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I appreciate all the support. The recent guides means the world. And yeah, boys, have fun with the game. See you boys soon.